The weirdest traditions from the ancient Olympic Games. More than 1,600 years ago, the inaugural Olympic Games final was held. That time, it boasts the weirdest traditions. Much has changed, and many of the ancient Greeks' favorite customs have been lost in the modern Olympics. Let's dive into some of those traditions in this video. Number 10. The winners' city walls are being demolished. The winners were worshipped as gods. They bought wreaths from a wild olive tree on the closing day of the Olympics. In his honor, statues have been erected. For them, songs and poetry were composed. They were paraded throughout the country in a vehicle, given large sums of money, and assured that they would never have to pay taxes again. However, some cities believe that this is insufficient. Your prize recipients are deserving of some extra assistance. The Greeks felt that a city with great kinds did not need partitions to protect itself. As your athletes arrived ashore, they tore down an entire segment's barriers, allowing the ecstatic Olympians to march across the wreckage. Number 9. The only covering the toe thong. You were already practically fully nude. A modest prize was offered to some athletes. The kindness me? This became something akin to a jockstrap or a thong, and it just covered the tip of the penis. It can be wrapped around the athlete's waist and decorated with a bit of a bow on the penis. It didn't even cover your genitals. Therefore, it wasn't out of modesty. Everything is covered the foreskin, which the Greeks regarded as a valuable component of the framework. Long draping foreskins were thought to be the pinnacle of beauty. Guys with ridiculously lengthy foreskins abound in Greek art. They're so common that historians aren't sure if they're works of art by a great artist or if this is how actual Greek genitalia appeared. The cynosmus has a cultivated value at times. Some of the foreskins have been extended to make them look bigger than they were. Because it was such a well-known concert, several individuals wore them at home instead of only during games. Number 8. People were killed in car races. Car racing was hazardous. There might be roughly 40 chariots on the tracks at any given time, and their wheels may mesh as they rotated. Some may cause the plane to drift out of control and crash, while others may guide the plane right at the audience. In one example, a race began with 21 vehicles, but the best one eventually retired. The game took countless lives, most of which occurred in front of a cheering audience. This may be why wealthy individuals who possess vehicles rarely use them. Instead, they could hire various individuals to ride for them in the chariot race and still earn an Olympic medal by paying someone else to put their life on the line for them. Number 7. Athletes participating in a naked competition. We're not clear why the Greeks were so adamant about giving up everything. According to legend, it all started when a runner stumbled over his loincloth and chose to mention hell with his garments. Others argue that the Greeks saw competition as the source of his pride, and that becoming a barbarian was the most excellent way to cover his nakedness. In any case, they didn't simply go around nude. They did a show of it. You may apply olive oil to your skin and go around the stadium. It was well received. Some even went so far as to write poems about it. We have one by Bacchylides, a poet who attempted to describe a record-breaking athlete. He was trapped, so he intervened. In this way, he presented the beautiful figure of himself in the midst of the vast round mob of Greeks. Number 6. Eating sheep testicles as a booster of performance. Testicles were thought to be a performance-enhancing substance by the Greeks. They had determined a link between the testicles and masculinity by studying eunuchs and castrated animals. They didn't understand biology, but they saw a link, and they were confident that the best way to grow macho was to eat as many testicles as possible. There were other options. Ingesting a pulverized combination of donkey hooves and rose petals can be used to make some. Others may be able to consume permanent bees. Some chose a dirtier path. They might attempt cursing their adversaries, something the Greeks were confident would succeed. Athletes who have lost their way or cannot reach the starting block, Greek errors and magical spells are all stories from the Olympics. Number 5. Animal sacrifices as a kind of ceremony. The Olympic Games started with athletes entering a temple. They were standing in front of a Zeus executive statue swinging his beams. A piece of sliced pig flesh might be placed in front of them, and they could swear to the gods that they would follow the game's rules. It was an unusual way to begin, but nothing compared to what was to come. On the third day, a procession of 100 bulls marched to the great altar of Zeus, where they were ritually slaughtered in front of a multitude with the assistance of monks. Some of the meat might be eaten, but the animal's thighs could be crisply burnt to sacrifice the gods. Number 4, in 70 pounds of armor, the race. The hoplitodromos will be the penultimate race of the Olympics, and he went insane. The competition may begin with a helmet on the head, metallic greaves on the shins, and hand protection. They were supposed to stroll about in armor, weighing between 50 and 70 pounds. They didn't have anything else on. The Olympics were born from this. They were unable to dress, and they were just bare-chested men with helmets and shin guards. Olympians must sprint 400 meters as quickly as possible while wearing all of their armor. We attempted to reproduce it with today's athletes, but it was a disaster. After 70 meters, no one should retain their protection, and after 275 meters, they were stunned and carried in pain. Number 3, women are not allowed to compete even if they are competitors. Virgo should see the Olympics. In fact, attempting to contact athletes encouraged them. Adult women, on the other hand, were unable to do so. The females were not allowed to enter, except Demeter Chamine's priestess, who sat on an ivory altar and watched the Olympics. This is in addition to the ladies who took part in competitions. Cynisca, a Spartan lady, competed in the Olympics with a carriage crew. She was permitted to fund and train them, but not to drive them. She was forced to hire somebody to carry her horses, and she wasn't even permitted to watch them in motion. She was victorious twice. He even had a memorial constructed in her honor in the Olympic Stadium. However, as a woman, she was not permitted to see it exposed, and neither she nor he was permitted to enter to find out. Number 2, prostitution in large numbers. The Olympics were not complete without prostitutes and events. Women from all over the Mediterranean may attend the Olympics to showcase their bodies. A prostitute should earn as much money over the 5 days of the Games as she has won during the year. Some of these ladies walked across the street all day to work as weavers. Prostitutes might be weaving in the streets as you were strolling around all day. You might be half naked and acting as wicked as possible while knitting clothing to entice all of the other clients. Many individuals organized alcoholic get-togethers that devolved into orgies that lasted till morning. During the Games, several people did not sleep, and virtually everyone was able to bathe. In the end, the city undoubtedly failed miserably at juggling a gym and a brothel since that's precisely what it has become. Number 1, pankration is a no-rules mixed martial arts sport. The Greeks had a sport called pankration, which evolved into today's mixed martial arts. 2 people could simply enter the fray and do anything they wanted until one got ahead of them. Except for bites, eye damage, and genital strikes, everything was legal. They could have done virtually anything with the pankration contest, and they did it all. Some of the techniques they employed were rather harsh. Sostratos de Sicyon, a wrestler, was dubbed Mr. Fingertips because he loved to start with colors to shatter his opponent's fingers. Another warrior, Arhashan, took his own life to win. Arhashan dislocated his opponent's toe while he was strangled between 2 thighs. Arhashan died of asphyxia due to his opponent's concession, making him the first Olympian to win even in death. So, these were the weirdest traditions from the ancient Olympic Games. What do you think about them? Let us know your views in the comment section below. Until the next video, stay tuned and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on more videos we post. See you soon. Bye.